Okay, boys and girls, today we are in our math notebook and we're going to go to the back half where we have the notes section. So open to a clean page. If you haven't already split your spiral in half, then just find where you think is the middle and start there. Did you find the middle, Kelsey? You want to go about halfway because the front half is for your warm-up. The back half we use for our notes. Okay, today is Tuesday, October 6th. You can put the date abbreviated in the top right corner. I'm gonna make it so y'all can see. Okay, and we're going over how to subtract across zeros. It's too bright. Okay, we ready? So we're going to be following along in our math spirals. A few of them we will do together. We're going to practice some on our own. And I'll be walking around the room just like yesterday, checking your work, making sure we're doing it correctly. So everything we do today, we'll go over it together. Okay? So let's just start with 600 minus 346. Okay, so subtracting across zeros can be a little tricky because when we need to borrow, say we're starting here in the ones place, we know we need to borrow because we can't take 6 from 0. If there's nothing there, you can't subtract 6 from it, right? Okay, so that means we need to borrow, which we practiced yesterday. But today we have to learn to skip that 0 because we can't borrow from a 0. We would have to borrow from the hundreds place. Okay, so that's what we're going to practice. So we ask ourselves, more on the floor? Yes. So we need to go next door. But in this case, we can't borrow from the 0, so we have to keep on going down. We go to the next place. The 6 is where we need to borrow from. So if I'm going to borrow from the 6, what does it become? A 5. Okay, now what gets tricky is a lot of times we want to just go down here and put this as a 10, but we can't do that. We have to stop in the middle. Think of this as like a stop sign. You have to stop here before you can go on to the next number. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give 10 to my tens place. So that 0 becomes a 10. Okay. So I stopped here, but now I need to keep on going until I get back to the ones place because this is where we need to start subtracting. So I need to borrow again. So this 10 now would become a 9. Okay? Now since I borrowed, I can give 10 more to the ones place. So the 0 now becomes 10. Okay? Now I can start subtracting. 10 minus 6 is 4. Good. 9 minus 4 is 5. And 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to show you a different way how to do the same thing but with less steps on the next problem. So make sure you're paying attention. Okay, 700 minus 421. Okay, so start in the ones place. Can I do 0 minus 1? No, and the reason I'm covering that up so y'all can just focus on this right here. So we need to borrow, right? We need to go next door. Can I borrow from a 0 if there's nothing there to borrow? No. So we need to go to the hundreds place. But what we can do now is we're going to borrow like this is 70. So I want you to put a box around this. And we're now borrowing from 70. So think about that. If I have 70 and I take one group of 10 away, or one group, it now would become what? Anybody have a guess? One lower. What's one lower than 70? Kelsey?
60.
Not 60. Just one. You went down 10.
69.
Good, 69. So we're going to cross this out and right above it, very neatly, and putting that in the correct place, we're going to put 69. Okay, so we borrowed from the 70 and made it a 69. So now this 0 down here can become what?
A 10.
A 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. And 6 minus 4 is 2.
Box it.
Okay, so you can box it, and you're still going to get the same answer. It's just saving you one step in the middle.
I understand this one.
The boxing?
It's so easy in the box.
It just saves you. Here, let me show you what it would look like, the same problem, if I didn't box it. We already know we can't do 0 minus 1, so we borrow, but we can't borrow from the 0. So we would go down to the 7, and it becomes what?
A
6. Good. So we got to stop here now, make this a 10, and then borrow again. So if I'm borrowing from here, what would this become?
A 9.
A 9. Now what do you notice?
69.
They both end up being 69 at the top, okay? We're just making this into one step instead of two right here. Okay, next one.
Can I do this one by ourselves?
Sure. 400 minus 138. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and help you get started. You can box this and then think about what this would become if you borrow from 40. Okay, let's check and see what you got. So we start in our ones place. We see there is more on the floor, so we need to go next door. But it's a 0, so I can't borrow from the 0. We already boxed this, so we're going to borrow from a 40. So you should have written 39 at the top. We're borrowing 1, so now it becomes 39. The ones place becomes 10. 10 minus 8 is
4.
2.
2.
9 minus 3 is 6. And 3 minus 1 is 2. 262.
2, 6, 2, 2, 6, 2.
Okay, now the boxing method only works when you have a 0 already in the ones place and in the tens place. Okay, so if I had 403, you don't want to try to box it. Only do it when you have both zeros, okay? So let's try another one. And you'll see what I mean. Okay, so we're going to start in the ones place. Can I subtract 3 minus 1?
Yeah, no. Yes. No.
Yes. Yes, 3 minus 1 is what?
Bigger than 1.
Is 2. Good, Aaliyah. So we don't need to box this 50, so don't automatically think, oh, I see 0, I need to box it, cross it out, make it a 49. Okay, because we didn't need to borrow here. Okay, now we go to the tens place. Can I do 0 minus 8?
No.
No, so now I need to borrow like the normal way of what we practiced yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to go next door and borrow from the 5. 5 becomes what, Evangeline? 4. And the 0 becomes what, Gregory?
That 0 becomes a 10.
Very good. 10 minus 8 is 2. 4 minus 2 is 2.
222. 2, 2, and 2.
Okay? Now this next one, I want you to try on your own. I will be coming around, seeing if you're doing it correctly. Those of you at home, you can just keep working and check your answer once we get to the answer part in the video.
Miss Walker, I need your help. My jacket that starts my hair. Thanks.
The help for that. Okay, let's check. I see lots of good answers. Everybody's showing their work correctly. Okay, we start at the ones place. 8 minus 5. Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes. What is it?
3.
Good. We go to the tens place. Can I do 0 minus 7?
No.
No, so we need to go next door and borrow. 7 becomes 6. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 6 minus 3 is 3.
833. bet it's going to be 444 next.
Could be. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
So this one's easy. 2. For small groups?
My group is already small, so I don't know if it'll You guys ready to check?
Yes.
Okay. So we start in the ones place. Can I do 0 minus 5?
No.
No, so we're going to borrow, but I can't borrow from the 0. I can borrow from 80, right? So we box this. We can make it an 80 and borrow from 80. So if I borrow from 80, what would it become?
79.
Good. So make sure that 7 goes over the hundreds, the 9 goes over the tens. Now I can subtract over here because I have 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 6 is 3. 7 minus 2 is 5.
535. 3, 5, 3.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 4 more practice problems to do. You will do these on your own. I'll be coming around and checking to see if you're doing it correctly. Those of you at home, you can just copy the 4 problems and then come back into the video and check to see if you got your answers correct. Okay?
Are you on live?
Okay, so there's your 4 problems. We're going to work these out and then we'll come back and check them together to see if we're doing it. Okay, let's start checking our answers now. Okay, so this one we start in our ones place. Can we do 2 minus 1?
Yes.
Yes, 2 minus 1 is 1. Now we go to the tens place. Can you do 0 minus 9?
No.
No, so don't go over here and put 9. That's what a lot of us want to do. We see 0 and a 9 and we put 9. We can't do that. So if I can't subtract this, I need to do what, Gregory? Borrow. Good. So
Borrow from the 4, that turns into a 3.
okay, good. Stop there. 4 becomes a 3 and the 0 becomes a 10. Very good. 10 minus 9 is 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 211.
Yay.
Raise your hand if you got that one right. Very good. Yay, awesome job. Okay, let's go to the next one. 4 minus 7, can we do that?
No.
No, we have more on the floor, so we go next door. But can I borrow from a 0? No. So we can go to the hundreds place, or what else can we do? Kelsey?
We could box the 60.
Good. We can box the 60 on this one. So the 60 would become what, class?
At 59.
Very good. 59.
What?
Okay, and the 4 becomes
A 14.
14. Okay? Now, if you didn't do it that way, say you just went down to the 6, you put a 5, you would have had to stop here, make this a 10, cross it out, make it a 9, and this would become a 14. So if you did it this way, it would have looked like that. Okay? Now that I've made it back down to the ones place, I can start subtracting. 14 minus 7 is 7. 9 minus 9 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, so that's another important thing. Even though we go all the way over here to borrow, don't go ahead and put the 2 down. You need to always start over here in the ones place when you're subtracting. I should never see a hundreds digit or a tens digit before you have your ones place subtracted. Okay? Next one, 900 minus 146. We start in the ones place. I can't subtract 0 minus 6, so I need to borrow. Can't borrow from a 0, so we can box the 90. And what does it become?
Of 89.
89.
89.
Okay. 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. 8 minus 1 is 7. Okay, any questions on that one? Raise your hand if you got that one right. Good. Second to the last one. 754.
But I didn't put the 0, but I left it blank. That's not right.
What in the answer?
Oh.
Oh, we're on this one. Now we're going to this one. The very last one. 600 minus 392.
No, you can't do that.
We can't do 0 minus 2. And I can't borrow from a 0. So I'm going to go ahead and box this as a 60. And if I borrow from 60, it would become a what?
59.
59. Good. Now this can become 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 9?
0.
0. And 5 minus 3?
2.
2. 208.
Yes,
Okay, now your assignment today, after you've done these practice problems in your spiral, those of you at home, and checked your answers, you will go into Seesaw and work out the subtraction problems. And you can work those out on notebook paper or in your spiral, but wherever you work them out, you need to take a picture of it and submit that in Seesaw so I can grade it. Okay, guys. Can't wait to see your work. I hope you're working hard. If you have any questions, please message me. You can do that on Seesaw, Remind, or even email.